Hi everyone. Let's start today's team meeting. Today I'm going to talk about being thirsty. Not for water, but for other things. Not liquids. For love, for attention, for drama, for validation, for conflict. You fill in the blank. We can be thirsty for so many different things. Before we get there, let me give you an update. What's going on in my world? Again, outside, loving it outside. I was thinking about this because people tend to put others on pedestals, right? And we do this when we look at Instagram and we see the person with the flat abs or the person who has only drinks alkaline water and we think they're perfect and we're not. Stop doing that, y'all. These people you see on the TV, on the screens, they're not perfect. They're not better than you either. So I was just trying to think of some of my moments, because you hear me talk about me getting on my Peloton bike and she did 1,000 rides. Ooh, she did that many rides. I couldn't be on a bike for that long. Let's not put that on a pedestal. That's my version of pushing my endurance. I'm sure you can do something that I would be like, whoa, you're impressive. Maybe you're a good swimmer. Maybe you can make things. I can't even cut straight. So I was thinking about these efforts that I make on this bike, but I'm also remembering maybe 12 years ago, I went to Cedars Point, the amusement park, the really nice one in Ohio. It's probably more than 12 years. It was probably like 15 years ago. I went to Cedars Point and I was in line with another person who I will leave out of this because I do not wish to tell anyone else's business. But anyway, we're in line and to get on a ride, a really nice, big, huge roller coaster. And then the people that worked there came up to us and said that we needed to check to see if we could qualify to get on the ride. It was about size. I was larger and in charge. I was large and in charge back then, okay? I was probably like 60, 50 pounds heavier. Yeah. But still the same me, but heavier me. And so they needed to check in to make sure that we'd be able to fasten the seatbelt, me and the person that I was with. It was very embarrassing and humiliating. We passed the test, but we were so demoralized by the question and the fact that we had to get out of line to go check because we were far back in the line, like maybe to the fence. And so we had to come to the front up here where I am to see if the seatbelt would go around our waist. Otherwise, they considered us not being safe enough to get on the ride or small enough to get on the ride. It was a horrible moment because the person, and we both liked roller coasters and really wanted to get on this ride. But to get called out that way, we weren't able to recover. So we decided we didn't want to get on the ride. So we went to the bumper cars, we went and got food. We met these guys and we ended up spending the rest of the day hanging out with them, like basically have made up a blind date for ourselves because we were humiliated. But I look back on that moment and said, why, how often do we allow life circumstances to shut us down like that? One no or one comment that hurts our feelings and then we're done. I let that moment ruin my opportunity to get on that really cool Cedar Point roller coaster. What are you allowing to stop you? Don't worry, no worries here. We had dates for the rest of the day. We had, all kinds of food that you get at an amusement park. And, these guys became a bit of a stalker because we mistakenly gave our phone numbers out. So it all ended up good. But I just want to highlight that. How often do you allow or are you allowing things to stop you from getting on your ride because you heard something negative or someone made a comment about your parenting or someone made a comment about your looks or you don't feel validated in some way, which gets us to our point here. Thirsty. Thirst, I'm not referring to liquids. I'm referring to your need for something to satisfy you. Thirsty is a term that people often use also when it comes to dating, like as a sign of desperation. I'm not going there, but it does relate. What my question I want to pose to you is, what are you thirsty for? It comes out whether you say it or not. Because if you're thirsty for praise, and it could be because it's your love language, and when you hear positive reinforcements about what you've done as an act, it fuels you. We'll get into love languages later, because there are certain ways that we receive love. So when maybe a person likes to be touched, they like to hear, hey, you're awesome. They like to receive gifts. They like to have things done for them, like if you vacuum my car, I'm in love with you. Not me, that's not my love language, but there are people who have that. And the other one is, so acts of service, meaning you do things for me. Words of affirmation, meaning you say I'm awesome. Physical touch, meaning you give me a hug or a kiss. Quality time, meaning you just want to do things together. And then the last one would be gifts. You give me something. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing, but you were thinking of me, so you decided to give me a notebook or something, a leaf, a Rolex, whatever. It can range. Anyway, when it comes to thirstiness, sometimes our thirst drives how we relate to the world. If you're so thirsty to be seen as successful, you want people to approve of you, you may do things that go beyond what you really need to be doing for that. Meaning you say yes when you should say no. You get into relationships and you stay in a relationship because you don't want to be single. You don't want to be seen as single. I've been single many years. The water's okay here? Of course. Someday I want to be married, and I'm not opposed to relationships, but I'm not so thirsty to be in one that I'm going to settle. What are you thirsty for? Are you thirsty for attention? So your Instagram is full of you showing pictures of you on a jet in Vegas, showing your abs. Nothing wrong with any of this. I just want you to identify what you're thirsty for, because it's coming out. People can see what you're thirsty for. I have a desire and a thirst to be helpful and add value to you. So I'm going to put my life on the line here. Transparency, telling my business, saying funny jokes about myself, like going to amusement parks. Because if I can connect with one person and they can see, hey, it's a safe zone. They went through something funny and they came out okay. Maybe I will too. Then, in my view, then my work here is being done, right? What are you thirsty for? Are you thirsty for praise? Do you want people to say you're awesome? Then acknowledge it, but also tell yourself you're awesome. My daughter has affirmations already. We're working on them. You're kind. You can do anything. You're brave. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're loved. And I'm probably going to get them typed up so as she gets older, it just becomes a thing we do. And then I want to show her what it means to be strong. What does it mean to be brave? What does it mean to be loved? Who loves you? Repeat these things so it can become her inner voice. So she's not so thirsty for attention that she's ending up in relationships that are unhealthy for her when she becomes a teenager, because she wants to get along and she wants people to like her. So she ends up making friends with people who are totally unhealthy. So what are you thirsty for? And can you give it to yourself? Or can you find someone who's healthy enough to talk to you about what you need so you can get it in a healthy way? I'm hoping this makes sense. What are you thirsty for? What do you want? If you're trying to get fulfillment from other people, it's never you're gonna remain thirsty. You're never gonna be filled. Some people, the people of faith, believers in faith in God and the divine, the premise for them would be you find your satisfaction through God. That's not for everybody. I'm not pushing that on everybody. But I'm saying that that's one thing that they do. What do you do? Because your thirst cannot put you in a compromising position to where you're selling yourself short, or you're devaluing yourself. Like you're so hungry to be loved by someone that you settle for people that you basically carry them on your back, or you allow them to demean you, or see you as a paycheck and basically treat you any kind of way because they know that you're not brave enough to be alone. I'm trying to add value here, y'all. And this is a tough conversation because it's embarrassing to admit in areas where you've been thirsty. I've been thirsty for praise for many years. Like, I wanted people to think that I was doing a great job at everything. I wasn't. It was sad. Sad because the things that I truly wanted in life I didn't have, but I was very successful on the outside. Great job, great money, traveled the world, happy smile. But there were so many things I was thirsty for that I wasn't getting satisfied. So I overworked and I over pretended like everything was okay and it wasn't. I don't want you to do that. Don't pretend like everything's just wonderful when it's not. And it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. What are you thirsty for? That's your action. Think about it. We will definitely come back to this. I will make it into a longer meeting. I'll put it as a podcast episode where it'll go beyond. These videos are normally only 15 minutes. It may feel like 15 hours to you. Hopefully not. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for going on this journey. There's my buddy again. This guy, I should just have him come over into the yard. I love y'all. We don't say that in meetings normally, but in the team meeting, we say it a lot. I actually closed out a meeting once by mistake. Bunch of executives. I said, love y'all. I'm like, oh my God. And I got off the call really fast because I was just mortified. I love you? Love y'all? Really? Is this like a family chat, Tara? Anyway, I did it. I did what I did. Join me for our next team meeting, and thank you for attending. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night or wherever you are. Thanks for joining.